Hello, my low carb friends. I'm so excited you've joined me today. We're going to talk a little bit about how we can travel and still live low carb. Here are some things that I've learned along the way on my journey and having traveled, what I can do to keep myself set up for success when traveling, but yet ultimately still having a good time. So some of the things that I want to talk about are planning ahead. So if you know where you're going, I like to look at the menus ahead of time. So when I was just in New Orleans, before we would go out to eat, I would see if I could view the menu online first. Or when you're walking down the street and you come across a restaurant, most of the restaurants in, let's say, the French Quarter, have their menus already on the outside of their buildings, so it was easy to quickly glance and see what they had to see if there was anything that I would be able to eat. I did realize when I was there that the only thing that I ate when I was there were chicken Caesar salads and omelets. But I didn't even realize that till the end of my trip. I just was making choices based on what I could have when I was there. What I most remember are the great experiences I had. So traveling is not about the food, I guess, unless you're going there for the food. But it's not all about the food, and I'm not going to lie. I did try bites of things. If Joey had something, I certainly took a bite off of his plate so I could taste. But my flavors were still there for the cuisine that we were in. Other things to keep in mind that you might want to consider to bring with you, pack in your suitcase, are protein bars. So I kept Quest bars with me. I packed them in my suitcase. I always carried a backpack wherever we went, and I just stuck a bar in there because you just don't know where you're going to end up, and I didn't want to be in a situation where I couldn't have something to eat. I also prepackaged peanuts in bags and stuck them in my suitcase, as well as just other kinds of nuts. I even stuck away a Premier Protein or two shake in there because I just didn't know. However, I did come across when we stopped at a couple gas stations that some gas stations actually had the Premier Protein already ready to go in their refrigerator. So I grabbed a few of them and put them in my hotel room at the same time. Other things that you could pack and bring with you are jerky, depending upon how you're traveling, some veggies. Create and bring your own homemade items that you could bring with you. I also brought with me wraps, low carb wraps, depending upon where I was going or what I was doing. I could throw one of them in my bag too and then eat that with my meal, whatever it might have been. Make sure you're creating conscious choices. And at the same time, mindful eating. Are you eating because you're hungry, or are you eating because just for the sake of eating, as you're walking down and want to try something or whatever it might be? So make conscious choices with what you're eating and remembering why you're there. I also recommend keep it simple. When we're going out to eat at restaurants, we don't always know how they're preparing their food, so I like to keep things simple using the fresh veggies that they might have to offer, things that are grilled or boiled. I try to avoid sauces because I'm unsure what's in the sauce to maybe thicken it up, and just simply remember the basics, which is kind of why I stuck to omelets. But again, my trip wasn't about the food. My trip recently was about the experiences that I can't experience here in North Dakota. So it was about hanging out with the alligators, exploring a plantation, getting to see a different baseball stadium. It was about the conference and learning. It wasn't about the food by any means. Ask for what you want and what you need. So as I was thinking about when I was traveling with coworkers, they don't all live my lifestyle, but they understand my lifestyle. So it's okay to, when you're traveling, to ask to go to a restaurant where you know you could have something, or suggest a restaurant. Obviously your coworkers hopefully wouldn't want you to go hungry. Hopefully they'd understand. So when we went all together for dinner, we went to a barbecue place where we each could have something, and it was just really wonderful. But just make sure you ask for what you want or what you need, especially if you're traveling in a group. Don't be afraid to speak up for yourself and be an advocate for yourself. Move past lapses in judgment. If you're traveling and there just simply isn't anything that you can have, I ran into that at the airport in Dallas-Fort Worth. By the time we got there, everything was closed, but I was really hungry, so my only option was McDonald's, which is fine. I just took the bun off, but don't beat yourself up. So I wanted a bite of a beignet, and Joey had a whole bunch of them, so I ate a bite of a beignet. So big deal. Move on. It's not a big deal. You have to live. You have to enjoy yourself. I just did not indulge or overindulge in anything. I kept to my whys, I kept to my beliefs, and it's when I got back, one of my council members had said, but you're on vacation, calories don't count, and that's just not true. I'm not using vacation as a crutch or as an excuse to not live my best life and put myself forward, because my vacation was not about the food. My vacation was about the experiences, and I can't explain that enough. I'm going on vacation for the experiences and the memories. I'm never going to remember what I ate there because it doesn't matter. I'm going to remember what I did and how I felt along the way, if that makes any sense. Another key thing is to watch alcohol consumption. Often you'd probably find me on my cell phone on MyFitnessPal looking things up as far as the drinks that were available. And at the end of the day, I had one glass of wine the whole time I was there, and I can't stress enough, obviously, how much water is important. So make sure that you're also consuming as much water as you can, just as you normally would every day. But just watch the alcohol consumption, especially with those fruity type drinks. Usually are loaded with not only calories but sugar as well. So be aware of that. Find activities that keep you active. So find things that keep you moving and keep you focused on having fun. That way you're not, unless your purpose is to go out. I mean, we chose to not go to like a cooking class or something like that. There are lots of other activities that we could have done and that we did do that weren't surrounded around food. Most importantly, the reason why we're on vacation is because we're having fun. So to recap, plan, bring your own things, if you will, find things that you can have, and don't worry about the food, right? Because we know when we go traveling or when we go out to eat that we always can modify something on a menu. So don't worry about the food. Have backup snacks with you in case you need them, but most importantly, have fun and make memories.